Good evening. Good evening, everyone, and welcome here in Chillicothe, Ohio at the VA Memorial Stadium. What a beautiful Friday night. So glad you decided to start your weekend with us. Shane Combs alongside Carson Francis as we have the first of what will be two high school non-conference baseball games here at the VA this evening. Carson, as I welcome you back into the booth, great to be with you. What a beautiful night. A couple of non-conference games. It should be interesting matchups, maybe the type of matchup we don't get to see year in, year out. And I think it goes a long way to preparing some teams for the postseason. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely, Shane. Good night for baseball. Got a good one on tap here, Minford and Manchester. And then the nightcap, Kenneth will be up here for Peebles and Chillicothe, that game as well. The nightcap of our doubleheader here. Two Shack teams in action tonight, and going against for Peebles, I know you and Kenneth will have a chance to talk about them later on, going up against a D3 school in Chillicothe, a chance to boost their resume as the tournament draw looms here in the next couple weeks. But as for this game, another great opportunity. Minford off to a red-hot start, 12-1 on the year. Manchester playing in a competitive Shack 2 division. They just dropped a game the other night to Fayetteville 10-9. This would be a great opportunity for them to get back in the win column against a really good Minford team.
No question. As I said earlier in the week, just so glad to be back in the booth. We tweaked last week's schedule to allow ourselves to have 3 games on Saturday, and then unfortunately Mother Nature wasn't having any of it, so it felt like we had quite a while off. We were back the other night with a really good game where White Oak got a win over Sims Valley. You can always go back and watch all these games on our SOSA YouTube. And as you're here, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already to make sure that you never miss, because we're going to have some incredible baseball coming up here as we hit the postseason. And we want to thank the fine people at Ohio Health for all that incredible support here on SOSA. Carson, let's take a little closer look. As you said, some smaller schools in relation to their opponent here tonight as a Manchester and a Peebles, take on the likes of a Minford and Chillicothe, and I just think it's a nice test as you get later in the year. Now, what's a little different in baseball that I wanted to get your take on, a lot of times you play on basketball, you play a non-conference game on a Saturday night, you have your full team. You play a football in week 1, 2, 3, or whatever. It's still your whole team. Your quarterback's your quarterback. Baseball is so much different because of the pitching aspect. So you're going to challenge your lineup against the level of pitching and defense that you're going to face, but it can be challenging because you get into these non-conference games and you don't have some of your top arms available because you're in the middle of a league race. What's your take on that as you get into some of these non-conference matchups and you get a little deeper into the pitching staff? I guess the positive, you get some experience, but on the downside, the ball's probably going to get put in play a little bit more and a little bit more action and pressure on your defense.
Yeah, a way I'd like to look at it, though, too, is again, I mentioned the tournament not too far away. This is a good opportunity to see what you have going into a period where you should be playing your best baseball. This is a good opportunity to evaluate, can we rely on this guy down the stretch with our backs against the wall, with our season on the line? This is going to be a good opportunity for a Manchester team who maybe not throwing the guys that they would throw in their league, to get those guys some experience against a high-level team like a Minford and prepare them for what they're going to face in that D7 tournament. The Greyhounds will go with Kenton Butt on the mound tonight. This is a good opportunity on a big stage for him to get some reps, again, against a really talented Minford squad.
Yeah, no question. The sophomore coming in for Coach Meade here, who's in his second year leading the Greyhounds. What a great test for them up against this outstanding Minford program. Carson, let's take a little closer at the Minford Falcons. Obviously, they certainly passed the eye test when you watch them warm up there, and as you study them on some of the stat sheets as I prepare for tonight, man, they check a lot of boxes. Now, their particular division in the SOC, that's who's who when it comes to high school baseball in this area. For people that aren't familiar, fill them in a little bit on just how good that particular conference is.
Well, the way I like to refer to that conference in the baseball side of it is, you think of the SEC in college baseball. That's pretty much what the SOC3 is in our coverage area. You've got Minford, who is 2 years removed from a regional appearance. They've won, I think, 5 district titles in the last 7 years now. You've got Wheelersburg, a team that's always competitive at the state level, a 3-time state champ in their program. Valley's always going deep year in, year out. You've got Waverly, who's always a tough, competitive team. Talked about South Webster, a team that we've seen a couple times here at the VA, also a team, well, you and Dewey had them in the regional level last year. Portsmouth West, always a competitive team. They've got some athletes on their side as well. It's just a matter of who beats who. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night. There's no easy outs in that conference. And that's what Minford brings to the table here, is they are battle-tested, and they can go out and compete with anybody on any given night because of who they're playing in that SOC3, arguably the best baseball conference in our coverage area.
Yeah, hard to argue that. You look at the state rankings this week. Inside that top 10, you find Minford at 3, Valley at 9. That's in Division 5. And then, as you said, South Webster all the way down to D7. They go toe-to-toe with those teams here, especially in recent years. They find themselves number 12. I would say, from being a coach in the Division 7 ranks, that's probably a little misleading because of who they play. I would say they have more of a top 5 talent. So they're going to be a team that's just going to be just fine. Then over in the Shack side, don't forget about Lynchburg Clay there in Division 5. They come in at number 4 as well. So we take a look at the matchup a little bit more head-to-head now that we've talked about both teams. I would say for a team like Manchester, you come in with the talent of Minford. The talent is what it is. I guess you got to try to take care of yourself in the game of baseball. Going to come down to throwing a lot of strikes, making routine plays, and then trying to put the ball in play. Give me some keys tonight you're looking for in this particular matchup.
I think for Minford, it's just the guys that you can rely on just doing their jobs. You don't have to, in baseball, you don't always have to go out and score 10 runs a night. But like we talked about, the pitching matchup, Manchester's not throwing the guys that they would normally throw in those league games where they throw their 1s and 2s. So if you can take advantage early on and do the little things right, take care of what you can take care of, you're going to be just fine. And if you're Manchester, again, this is an opportunity for you to go out and make a splash as far as you're standing in the tournament, but you got to attack early. This is a Minford team that when they get out in front, they don't look back. So you want to take advantage and get hits, get some runs early, and you never know what can happen in the end. This is a great opportunity, again, for this Manchester ball club.
Yeah, I like the word you use there, opportunity. Let's take a little closer look at the personnel here tonight. This is how Manchester will roll them out as they'll come up to bat as the visiting ball club here in the top of the first. Number 2, Traven Hildebrand will play second base. In the 2-hole, Luke Applegate, the shortstop. Batting third, Clayton Colvin, the center fielder. Cleanup for the Greyhounds will be Braylon Rickett, the right fielder. Carson Inman, he'll play first base and bat fifth. Parker Hayslip is the 6-hole hitter. He'll play third base. On the mound and pitching will be Kenton Butt, just the sophomore. Again, as Carson talked a little bit about him, and Carson will give you more on him as the game goes on. But great opportunity for that young man tonight against a really good Minford team. In the 8-hole, James Hackathorn, the DH, he'll hit for Lucas Rigdon, the left fielder. And then in the 9-hole, Landon Doyle will do the catching. One more time for Coach Meade. It goes Hildebrand, Applegate, Colvin in the top third. Middle third will be Rickett, Inman, and Hayslip with Butt, Hackathorn, and Doyle. As you look at those individuals there, Carson, maybe give the viewers a couple names that jump out at you that you want to pay attention to.
I really like that 1, 2, 3 at the top of the order for the Greyhounds, going Hildebrand, Applegate, and Colvin. Traven Hildebrand bats .259 on the season and leads the team in stolen bases. He's got 12 on the season, so if you get him on base, that presents a great opportunity for the likes of Applegate, Colvin, and then Braylon Rickett in cleanup to move him around, get him home. And what I talked about, getting some runs, getting on the board early, going to go a long way for this Manchester team. And then you look down at Clayton Colvin in the 3-hole, leading the team with 17 runs batted in. Again, you get Hildebrand on base early, great opportunity for the 2, 3, and 4 guys to get him around the bases, hopefully bring him home.
Yeah, and then over on the Minford side, Coach Daniels, he'll put his shortstop in the leadoff spot, Max Lauder. Mason Bradley's the pitcher. He'll bat in a 2-hole. Batting third, the right fielder, Ty Borland. The cleanup hitter is your first baseman, Carter Frazee. In the 5-hole, the catcher, Colby Mullins. Batting 6th and playing left field, Mark Napier. Batting 7th, the second baseman, Colt Donahoe. In the 8-hole, the third baseman, Evan Richards. And batting 9th and playing center field is Curtis Glenn. Again, one more time, Coach Daniels. Top third will go Louder, Bradley, Borland. Middle third will be Frazee, Mullins, and Napier. And the bottom third, Donahoe, Richards, and Glenn. So as we come up closer and closer to the national anthem, quickly, Carson, I want to give you the same opportunity there with the Falcons. Give me some individuals maybe that jump out at you.
Mason Bradley is a guy who came in to the VA 2 years ago in that district final against Wheelersburg, the last one that Minford won. Came in, pitched at the end of the game, closed out the deal. That was a big launch pad to the high school baseball career of Mason Bradley. He's been phenomenal since that sophomore season, and now he's red hot as a senior, batting .533 on the year, leading the Falcons in hits, and he's also taking the starting pitching reins tonight, where he's been excellent on the mound as well. I'll talk more about his pitching skills later on as we go throughout the game. Should be a great game today, two competitive teams. I'll be interested to see how both pitchers fare against each batting order as well. Like I said, great matchup, great night for some baseball.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and looking forward to calling it for everybody here. 1st to 2 on a Friday night. We'll step away for a quick timeout. We'll be back with tonight's first pitch. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Welcome back. Some Friday night high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Got the lineup cards exchanged there. Coach Meade, Coach Daniels, and our two umpires here this evening. National anthem. Both teams heading back to the dugout. And looks like we're about ready to get underway. Beautiful night here at the VA Memorial Stadium. Looking at the weather forecast here in Chillicothe, it looks like we're in for about a first pitch, Carson, of about 79. Certainly can get a little hot on that turf. Obviously, the nightcap, Chillicothe and Peebles, be a little bit cooler, but you start heating up like this, it starts to make you think a little bit about postseason baseball.
Absolutely. As we're coming in on that time, obviously going to be busy out here at the VA. We're going to have some high school action early next week, which we will have coverage here on SOSA. More on that later. And then next weekend, the NAIA River States Conference Tournament will be here all weekend. So fun time to be a baseball fan in Southern Ohio as the tournament approaches. And, yeah, great weather gets us ready for that postseason as it approaches.
As we said earlier, if you're just joining us, going through the starting lineups, it's going to be left-hander Mason Bradley taking the ball for Coach Daniels and the Minford Falcons. Face that lineup that Carson was highlighting in our pregame coverage with Hildebrand, Applegate, and Colvin due up. And, you know, I think this is true for a lot of teams in high school baseball, probably even all levels of baseball for that matter. But I agree with you. Hildebrand really makes them go. You mentioned the 259 average. What jumps out at me on the stat sheet is the on-base percentage jumps all the way up to 459. That young man able to get on, he can really make the Greyhounds go. Taking a look at the Minford defensive alignment, out around the outfield, left to right, goes Mark Napier, Curtis Glenn, and Ty Borland. On the infield, third base over to first goes Evan Richards, Max Lauder, Colt Donahoe, and Carter Frazee. And tonight's Minford Falcons battery has the lefty, as I said, Mason Bradley, throwing to Colby Mullins. Mullins will throw it on down, and the Falcons will toss it around, and when the ball gets back to Mason Bradley, we should be just about ready to go. Leadoff hitter will be Traven Hildebrand, as I said just a second ago. Comes in hitting 259, on base 459, but as Carson said, the speed is a big-time factor with his ability to steal some bases, score some runs. So obviously a key part of this Manchester attack. First pitch misses down and away, and again, we're just a little bit later starting due to some travel and some different things like that. That's going to happen in high school baseball, bus situations, but not too awfully bad. Again, first of two here tonight. Chillicothe and Peebles still to come. Fastball in the outside corner evens the count at 1.
Hildebrand 0 for 1 in that loss to Fayetteville Thursday night. Got on base a couple times, came around to score on 2 occasions. He walked 3 times.
Bradley pretty much exclusively from the stretch there, just comes set, lifts the leg and goes. 1-2 offering. Hildebrand thought about it, able to hold up and stays alive at 2-2. And obviously the good speed, anything top half on the infield puts a lot of pressure on this Minford defense. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the strike 3. Good start for Bradley and the Falcons as they are able to not only get the lead man, but keep that speed of Hildebrand off the bases. Number 2 hold, the shortstop Luke Applegate. As the night goes on, Carson will talk to you a little bit about his ability to throw it as well, but going to be the shortstop here tonight. But he, too, big part of their offense, comes in hitting 296 as he swings through that first pitch from Bradley.
Statistically, their best hitter from that Fayetteville game, 2 for 3 with a run batted in, a double and 2 walks for Luke Applegate, also a phenomenal basketball player for the Greyhounds.
Fastball up and in, misses, going to be 1-1, and terrific athlete. Had a chance to watch him throw probably about a week ago. Certainly a live arm, throws with great velocity, good off speed. Swing and a miss. Bradley ahead in the count 1-2. So, good efficient start here for Bradley. You always like to come out in that first inning and set a tone, getting ahead in the count. These hot nights, the last thing your defense wants to do is stand out there on the turf while you're trying to throw the ball over the plate. He's been aggressive, and there's a backwards K. Back-to-back strikeouts to start things out here for Mason Bradley.
Number 4, Clayton Colvin.
Yeah, way to attack early on from Bradley, even when maybe falls behind in the count slightly, still able to stick with it and get the outs he needed already 2 away.
3-hole Clayton Colvin going to give us a left-on-left matchup. He's first pitch swinging, lifts one out in the left center field. Long run for Napier, can't get there, and it's going to fall in for a 2-out base hit.
Number 21.
Had Lauder going out, Napier coming in, even Glenn converging from center field, and just a perfect place to pop up to fall in for a 2-out hit, which will give Braylon Rickett a first inning try here.
It's a good backup by Glenn, the center fielder, to prevent that ball from it getting any deeper. Good piece of 2-out hitting from Manchester.
Slide step, fastball hits the outside corner. That's a great point, Carson. I've always said this outfield, it's kind of like a high school version of Coors Field. You know what I mean? It's like just offensively, there's so much space out there. If your outfield defense isn't up to the challenge, singles become doubles, doubles become triples, even at the high school level because of arm strength. Sometimes triples become inside the park home runs. 1-1 to count. Colvin leading from first base. He has 8 stolen bases on the year. He's going to go on the pitch. Going to start the runner there, a little hit and run action. Fouls it right off his foot. And again, the common theme for Mason Bradley is attacking the zone early and often. Once again ahead 1-2 in the count. 1-2, 2 outs. Slide step, runner staying put there, and that's another strikeout, 3 of them in the inning for Mason Bradley. 1 hit, 1 man left. Nobody comes around to score. At the end of 1, Manchester 0. The Falcons are coming to bat. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Swinging a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Off to the home half of the first inning we go, as the Minford Falcons will take their first crack on the offensive side, as they'll face Kenton Butt, the right-handed sophomore from Manchester, and top third in the order for Coach Daniels with Louder, Bradley, and Borland. And man, that just really quite a top third that's really made this Falcons team go throughout the year.
Absolutely. You start off with Louder, who has also been in this program a pretty lengthy period of time leading off, and then I talked about the dangerous hitting of Mason Bradley. He's batting over 500 this year. That's pretty impressive in and of itself, leading the team in hits and RBI. Kenton Butt going to have his work cut out for him, but again, as I was saying in the pregame, this is a great opportunity to face a really good lineup going into the home stretch of your regular season, get you ready for that D7 tournament.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of trying to control the controllables, making sure you don't give the free passes, avoid the walks, the hit by pitch, the pass balls, the wild pitches, those types of things, and then trying to make the routine plays. Obviously, Minford's offense is going to hit just fine. Try to take care of your own self. Ready to go here in the bottom of the first inning. Louder thought about a bunt there. The fastball comes up and in on him. He pulls back and takes ball 1. A slip over at third base was about even with the bag. He reacted right away when he started to see the square. Swings on the second pitch. Great diving effort there from Hildebrand, just out of the stretch on into right field for a base hit as Max Louder is aboard.
Number 21,
Off the bat, I thought he had a chance there, Carson. That was a terrific effort from Hildebrand.
Yeah, great effort. Just an even better hit by Louder, get on base in the leadoff hole.
Mason Bradley steps in here. He'll take the first pitch off speed for a strike, and Carson was just rattling off some impressive numbers, near video game style numbers, just having a terrific season. Strike 1 delivery, misses on the inner half, will be 1-1. Good speed from Louder over at first, held on there by Inman. As we said, Butt just a sophomore here, gets the sign, comes set. Runner going on the pitch. Bradley swinging away, fouls it back out toward the parking lot here at VA Memorial Stadium, and that'll send Louder back over to first base with Butt ahead 1-2 in the count. The delivery, this time the runner stays put. Pitch misses away, 2-2. Let's see if that entices Coach Daniels to start the runner one more time here.
Louder with 5 stolen bases, only caught stealing 1 time.
There he goes, and the swing. That ball's in the gap. This could equal a run here for the Falcons. The speed of Louder off and moving. Bradley never stops, coming all the way to third. Ball's going to come into the shortstop, and it's just a perfect combination of, I don't know if it's necessarily a hit and run with 2 strikes. It's probably more of a run and hit, and Bradley just goes with the pitch and hammers it into the gap. The speed of Louder going to score easy.
Yeah, great placement to put it in the gap. Maybe a misread by the Manchester outfield, which allows Bradley to get all the way to third and for the Falcons to get that first run of the game.
Great opportunity to add one more here as Borland steps in. The infield in. Hildebrand does a nice job of really looking across at Bradley, and for the time being, they're able to survive one tough situation and record the first out.
It was a good job by Manchester, able to hold that runner at third. Just great awareness by the Greyhounds.
Carter Frazee steps in. Clean-up batter playing first base this evening, and great opportunity as Manchester will keep the infield somewhat medium to end. Pitch to shortstop again, going to hold the runner. Applegate checks a runner, throws across to Inman, and so far so good in terms of Butt in the Manchester defense trying to strand Bradley over at third base. So the 2-out opportunity for the RBI will now belong to Colby Mullins, the Minford catcher. He lifts a fly ball out in the left field. Rigdon drop steps, has a beat on it, but it beats him over the top. That ball's going to go all the way to the wall. Here comes the speed of Mullins coming all the way around to third base, and he's just going to basically trade places with Mason Bradley, and the Falcons are going to jump out to the 2-0 advantage. Carson, it's hard to tell from here. It looked like off the bat Rigdon had a chance at it. Honestly, being a lefty was probably a little more difficult for him because that extra reach there from the right-handed player might have been a better opportunity to make the lunging grab.
Yeah, and I think the hard part about, especially here at the VA, playing at this time when sun's making its way down, it's more eye level with you, hard to make a read on those fly balls.
Yeah, great point. Quickly ahead after the called strike, get the foul back, and Bud ahead 0-2, trying to limit the damage to just 2-0 Minford here in the bottom of the first inning. This is Mark Napier, the left fielder, hitting here in the 6th hole as Minford runs a lot of offensive players from the left side against you. And on the swing and miss, going to get the strikeout to end the inning, but not before Minford plates 2. We've played 1. Minford 2, Manchester nothing. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Welcome back. Shane Combs, Carson Francis here on a Friday night. First of 2 on SOSA, as always presented by Ohio Health. We move to the top of the second inning. Minford leads at 2-0. It's going to be 5, 6, 7 due up for the Greyhounds in the form of Carson Inman, Parker Hayslip, and Kenton Butt.
Mason Bradley did a great job getting ahead in the count in that first inning. Gave up the hit, but was able to get out of it right after. See if he can attack more of the same here in the second.
Yeah, the lefty with 3 strikeouts there in the first inning. Now it's going to be another left-on-left matchup as Carson Inman steps into the box. Fastball catches the outside corner. Nice job by Colby Mullins there to hold that ball strong on the corner and display it for the umpire.
It's a nice little paint job there.
Another fastball. This one fouled back right on it. Good swing. But now he's going to be behind in the count 0-2 as Mason Bradley's looking for his 4th strikeout here in the early part of the second inning. 0-2 delivery. Climbs the ladder just a little bit, swing and miss, and he does get that 4th strikeout. And Carson, I think a big key, you just mentioned it, the common theme up and down so far is he's been ahead in the count.
Absolutely went right to work there against the leadoff man Inman and wasted no time sitting him down.
Senior Parker Hayslip, the third baseman, will be the one-out batter. He'll swing first pitch, hit it over in the hole. Backhand there from Louder. Lost it momentarily, gets it back, and then shows off a little bit of arm strength as he fires across Carter Frazee to get Parker Hayslip by about a half step.
There's just a bang-bang play over at first, and Louder does a great job getting it there just in time. Quickly 2 away, go the Greyhounds.
2 outs in the inning. The 7-hole hitter is the pitcher, Kenton Butt, as we mentioned earlier, just a sophomore. Steps in there with that open stance, takes the first pitch, and for, I believe, the first time tonight, Mason Bradley falls behind a hitter, just missing. As we said there in the first inning, he works pretty much exclusively from the stretch, and he works fairly quickly, which, again, I think your defense appreciates. It kind of keeps them invested and ready to go to work for you. 1-1 pitch. Climbs the ladder just a little bit and misses. So Bud ahead in the count 2-1. It's just off the outside, actually catches the outside corner there. Going to come back to 2-2. And again, been real impressed here in the early going with the receiving of Colby Mullins. Does a real good job of really stretching those corners for his pitcher. That one misses out. We're going to run full. Here on the SOSA YouTube channel, make sure you check out all what we have. Great interviews with kids from all over the area. Got our SOSA overtime I do with John. Appreciate Perfection 1 for all the support on that. Here's 3-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. And again, Mason Bradley making quick work of the Manchester Greyhounds here through 2. As we head to the home half of the second inning, Minford leads at 2-0. Stay with us. We're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Bottom third of the order for the Minford Falcons here in the home half of the second inning, and it'll be Colt Donahoe, Evan Richards, Curtis Glenn. Minford leads at 2-0 in the first inning. If you're late joining us, Max Louder led off with a base hit, and then Mason Bradley went backside gap for the RBI, came all the way around the third. Looked like Kenton Butt was going to pitch around a really tough spot, infield in, got ground balls from Borland and Frazee, but then it was Colby Mullins delivered a 2-out RBI triple, and that's how Minford arrived at the 2-0 advantage. Second baseman Donahoe steps in and twirls the bat around there. Now he's set and takes the first pitch. Ball misses just off the outer half of the plate. Butt misses the 1-0 pitch again outside 2-0. And again, Kenton Butt, just a sophomore, as we were saying earlier. Young man pitching in just his 4th game of the year, only has about 8 innings on the year. Great opportunity against the defense. There's some outstanding range. Hildebrand won't be able to make the play, but been impressed with him defensively. Remember back in the first inning, diving effort just missed the line drive off the bat of Max Louder. That time he does get to the ball off the bat of Donahoe, but obviously too far up the middle to be able to turn and get anything on the throw, so that's going to go as an infield hit, and that'll give Minford a base runner as Evan Richards steps into the box. First pitch swinging, line drive right back up the middle. Donahoe picks up his third base coach, who has the stop sign up, so he'll stop there at second. And the Falcons are in business as the bottom third, Carson, getting involved. And when this team gets that, obviously we know what the top half can do. That's when this team can get really dangerous.
I was starting to think the same thing. If you're not able to sit down this 7, 8, and 9 guys, great baseball players, but maybe not the pop and the power that the top of the order has. But now the 7 and 8 guys are on base as Glenn tries to lay down a bunt here. It's foul. But now you've got Louder, the leadoff man, on deck. And with 2 guys already on, opportunity to create even more damage than what the Falcons have already done.
Yeah, no question about it. You mentioned the speedy Glenn. Kind of got caught in the middle. I don't know if it was a sacrifice or he's trying to bunt for a hit a little bit more. Now this time going to look to swing away, but takes the pitch up and in. You know, a lot of times when you have the speed of Glenn, it's one of those where early in the count, hey, worst case scenario, I'll bunt him over, but if I can put it where I want it, I might be able to use my speed to get a hit out of it as well. Butt comes set, now throws in behind the hitter. That ball's going to get all the way away from catcher Landon Doyle. Donahoe moves up to third, and Richards up to second, and Minford really in business here, already leading 2-0.
It's another thing about playing on this turf here at the VA is the ball travels fast. That ball got behind Doyle, got to the backstop pretty quick.
It's one of those ballparks, as you're saying. I've seen some people take 2 bases there on the pass ball if they're going hard. Pitch misses off the outside, and now Glenn ahead 3-1. Donahoe from third and Richards from second as that ball's fouled off. Glenn stays alive. Runs the count to 3-2, but in a situation here where you really want contact and put some pressure on the defense.
That left side infield playing in a ball over their head could easily bring home both runs.
Butt comes set at the belt. Lifts the fastball up and gets the chase. Much needed strikeout. So second strikeout of the evening for Kenton Butt, and that's going to flip the order back to the top. Max Louder, line drive base hit over to right center field to start the bottom of the first inning. First pitch swinging, pops it straight up in the air. Luke Applegate drop steps off the shortstop spot. He has it. Not deep enough for Donahoe to advance. So just as we had in that last inning, remember we had back-to-back ground outs to kind of hold a runner at third. Another opportunity here for Manchester to do the same if they can this time get that 2-out defensive play that they were unable to get in the first inning. Dangerous Mason Bradley had the RBI. It went down as the RBI triple. I agree with you, Carson. It looked like they had a little trouble with it out there in the gap. No error was assessed, but certainly that ball was bouncing around there a little bit.
I think it was just, again, a matter of outfielder just couldn't get a good read on the ball and didn't really have a fair chance at making a play.
Butt comes set at the belt. Tries the outside corner, misses. This is one of those situations with first base open, but the problem with this lineup is the pitch around Mason Bradley, you're going to load the bases for Ty Borland. Pick your poison. 3-0 offering. Looked to me to be taking all the way. Hits the outside corner. 3-1. Big spot here early in the game. Still just 2-0, but Bradley obviously here a chance to drive home 2 more. The pitch, that misses away. That's going to load him up. So bases loaded. Donahoe from third, Richards from second. Now Bradley over at first. Ty Borland is your 2-out batter. He was first pitch swinging, hit a ground ball to second base back in the first inning. Once again, first pitch swinging right on that one, fouled it right back at us. Carson here in the early going, the sophomore Kenton Butt's been around the plate. It hasn't had a lot of control issues. I still think that last walk was a little bit of a pitch around. There's a swing and another ground ball to second base. Hildebrand's there, gets a quick release over to Inman. Great job by the sophomore Kenton Butt to pitch in and out of trouble and keep this just a 2-0 ball game. You're watching high school baseball. Stay with us here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
You look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
Welcome back here to the beautiful VA Memorial Stadium, home of your Chillicothe Paints, and they'll be just around the corner getting started with their own season. But first, as Carson said earlier, some outstanding college baseball coming to town here soon. And then obviously we're always really excited around the district regional time. So much good baseball action that we have the privilege of having right here in Chillicothe, Ohio. And we're going to get the opportunity right here, best seat in the house, to bring a lot of action to people.
Absolutely. Always a great time of year. And we've got some good action coming for you next week that we'll have right here on SOSA. Monday night, our first ever softball stream here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Jackson and Chillicothe. That's quite the game to have for a first ever softball stream. The top 2 teams in the FAC battling it out here at the VA. Should be an exciting night for us to call. And then Tuesday night baseball action, McLean and Waverly.
Yeah, real excited about next week. An unbelievable softball matchup. It's always cool. If you haven't seen it out here at the VA, the way they set it up and take it down, it's a lot of work and great effort, but it allows to showcase the game of softball as well. And you talk about showcasing softball, not a much better way to do it in our coverage area than those 2 teams in Chillicothe and Jackson that you just mentioned. Well, we're here into the top of the 3rd inning as the game moves along. Mason Bradley's been in complete control. He's had 5 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. Finds himself in a 1-1 count here as James Hackathorn, the DH, steps in to lead off out of the 8-hole. Hackathorn, just a sophomore, batting from the right side. 1-2 pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, and the strikeouts continue to add up. That's number 6 on the evening already here in the early going, and Bradley's just been dominant.
Yeah, just, again, like the way that he's attacked early on, gotten ahead of the count, and quickly won away here in the 3rd for Bradley.
Now out of the 9-hole, Landon Doyle, the Manchester senior catcher. will be your one-out batter. Swings through the first pitch as Bradley once again continues to work ahead. Back in the first inning, Manchester had its one hit with 2 outs off the bat of Clayton Colvin. Other than that, not a whole lot of traffic on the bases for the Greyhounds. 2-1 the count here as Doyle's ahead, trying his best to find a way down there to first base before Coach Meade and his Greyhounds turn the order over. There's a number up the third baseline. Outstanding play by Bradley off the mound, but he's not going to have nearly enough time to turn and throw out the hustling Doyle down the first base line. Take him however you can get him. That's a base hit in the book. And base runner here for Manchester is they'll turn it back over to Traven Hildebrand.
Yeah, good hustle by Doyle, the 9-hole hitter, to get on base with 1 out. And now you got the top of the order. We talked about in the pregame how dangerous this can be for Manchester.
As I said before, Mason Bradley working out of the stretch pretty much all the way. Notice there with the base runner on, comes set just a little bit more square from where I'm sitting than a little bit more open when he's in the wind-up. Pitch misses just away. Count evens 1-1. Luke Applegate on deck. Comes set, long look over there at Doyle. Hildebrand thought about a bunt one more time, pulls back, but the ball catches the outside corner, so now Mason Bradley once again ahead 1-2. As I said earlier in the game, Hildebrand hits right around 259, but the on-base percentage jumps all the way up to 459, which is obviously something you really want out of that leadoff spot. Takes the pitch down low, evens count 2-2.
If he gets on base, watch out. Like I said, a team leading 12 stolen bases on the year.
Slide stepping, an outstanding off-speed pitch. Had him out in front a little bit, swings through for the strikeout. 7 now on the evening, and the 2-out batter will be Luke Applegate as Landon Doyle continues to lead from first base. Bradley looking in at Colby Mullins, who's done an outstanding job receiving here to this point. Misses up and away. So many times we forget to mention that catcher, Carson. When pitchers start in the groove, it truly is a teamwork in that battery.
Yeah, and I like the play of Mullins, how he's been able to help Bradley find those corners in the zone that have helped him get some of these strikeouts. There he gets a swing and miss.
There, a little bit of a little harder breaking pitch. Been impressed with his ability to command all of his pitches here tonight. It's really had Manchester a little bit off balance. Applegate just shy of 300 on the year at 296. Had a pretty good cut at that one, fouls it off over to the on-deck circle, and Colvin picks it up and tosses it back into the umpire. Bradley ahead 1-2. Landon Doyle leads from first. Bradley comes set, check of a runner. Now he comes home. That ball's hammered to left field right through the 5.5 hole, and little 2-out bingo there for Manchester. Is going to have 2 on and 2 out. And that's going to bring Clayton Colvin, their leading RBI guy, to the plate, and a pretty good opportunity for Manchester here, Carson, to maybe cut into the lead.
Yeah, I talked about, again, the 1, 2, 3 guys for Manchester, their ability to make some noise. Certainly seeing that here. Let's see if Colvin can keep it going with 2 outs.
That ball gets all the way, and that's going to move Doyle up to third, Applegate up to second, and now a base hit through to the outfield, especially with 2 outs, would probably get Manchester even in this game as they trail at 2-0. Left on left matchup. Colvin singled back in the first inning. It was kind of a high fly ball out over top a shortstop that found the no man's land. Fastball in. Now, we talked about this in the other half inning. Carson, same situation for Bradley. He does have first base open, although he is on the left-on-left matchup. Obviously, Colvin, the leading RBI guy for the Greyhounds. Now all the way behind 3-0. My guess is Colvin will have the green light here. Let's see if Bradley gives him something to hit. Misses low and away. It's going to load the bases, and great opportunity here for the 4-hole, the senior right fielder, Braylon Rickett.
It's the first time today that we've seen Mason Bradley face quite a bit of adversity. Let's see how he responds. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Rickett.
First pitch swinging, chopper out to Louder. Throws across in time to Carter Frazee to get out of the jam. Great job by Mason Bradley getting the ground ball. Good play from Louder, and that keeps Minford ahead 2-0 as we head to the home half of the third inning. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Off to the home half of the third inning as the Minford Falcons will go back to the bat rack, and they'll send up to the plate 4, 5, 6 in the form of Carter Frazee, Colby Mullins, and Mark Napier. And I tell you what, Carson, I mean, early on, Manchester's had some opportunities. They pitched themselves in and out of some trouble, did allow the 2 runs back in the first inning. There they had their first real opportunity to leave the bases loaded. Good job by Bradley to understand the matchup he wanted to get to there. I thought he pitched around Colvin a little bit personally and then got the ground ball, and Louder made the play for him.
Yeah, absolutely important to get that ground ball with the bases loaded. If you're Manchester, that could be a big blow. Bases loaded, chance to tie the game, get a ground ball out. Let's see how they respond on the defensive end, but certainly a tough blow for the Greyhounds.
Carter Frazee grounded to shortstop Luke Applegate back in the first inning for the 6-3 putout. So he'll come to bat for the second time as he leads off the third inning. Carter, the first baseman, bats it here from the left side. Kenton Butt's first delivery misses down low, 1-0 the count. Greyhounds playing pretty straight away, somewhat backside out in center field as Clayton Colvin will shade just slightly to the backside of the left-hand swinging Frazee. Pitch misses away, and just like that, 3-0 count. And Kenton Butt, who really has been around the plate most of the night there, just maybe having trouble finding the release point. Keep in mind, he comes in only 8 innings, so he's only throwing his 11th inning of the entire year. So you always wonder when pitch counts start to climb, does fatigue become a factor?
And facing this middle of the order here, some important outs on the table.
3-1, Frazee maybe extending the zone there just a little bit. Fouls it all the way down around the picnic area, and it's going to put Kenton Butt back in the count a little bit here. Full count on a key spot here. When you're facing this Minford lineup, the ability to get that first out is huge, and that pitch just misses off the outside corner, and it's going to be a leadoff walk for Carter Frazee. How to bring Colby Mullins, the Minford catcher, to the plate. Colby had an RBI triple back in the first inning, 2 outs. It was 1-0 at the time. Looked like Butt and the Greyhounds were going to get out of it with just that 1 run, but then the 2-out triple able to bring another run in. The first pitch swinging, pops it straight up. Outstanding effort for Doyle to pop out of there, get the mask off, and make the play for the out.
That was a great job by Doyle, quickly getting up out of his position, getting the mask off, making the catch. The ball didn't have a lot of hang time, so to be able to get there in enough time to make the play is important.
Carson, we mentioned Mullins on the other side. Just the same. Here's the bunt attempt, is bunted foul at the third base line. I feel like Doyle's given a pretty good effort to his sophomore pitcher here on this side of things.
Absolutely, and both catchers have done a great job behind the plate. In the case of Doyle, his ability to hustle and keep the ball in front of him most of the time has kept the score right where it's at after the Greyhounds surrendered 2 in the opening frame.
Butt tosses it over to Inman there just to check the runner Frazee. And you weren't with us. I said back on the first pitch, that ball comes in on the square there and hits the batter there. That's a dead ball situation, so the runner that advances second won't be able to go anywhere. I mentioned back on the first pitch of the night, 79 degrees and sunny on this turf. It's not the easiest thing. Umpires come together there. I think someone from the Manchester dugout was asking on the square of the, was there a square of the bunt? Was there an offer at the pitch? And I think umpires come away with the answer no. So with 1 out, now 2 guys on base with Frazee at second, Napier at first. And your 1-out batter will be second baseman Colt Donahoe. Donahoe led off the second inning with a single. Waves that bat around a couple times. Now ready to go. Pitch sends a fly ball backside to right field. Right fielder Braylon Rickett backpedaling there, squares it up, makes the catch. Tagging at second and moving over to third is Frazee. But a nice job by Braylon Rickett to get the second out of the inning and give Bud a chance to pitch out of it without allowing any more damage.
Yeah, that ball was well hit. Pretty fair distance. Just great job by Braylon Rickett, the right fielder, to track it down for out number 2.
First and third situation. Let's see if Minford starts the runner. They will. They'll take it all the way, and catcher Landon Doyle will let the runner move on up as Napier will go on into second base. So now we've got Frazee at third, Napier at second, and Minford looking to play a little add-on. Swing and a miss there. Evan Richards is your 2-out batter here. The Minford third baseman. He also singled back in the second. Remember, it was Donahoe and Richards singling to get things started. It looked good, but they were stranded there, and with no runs coming home there in that inning. That's a tight pitch that catches the inside corner, and now Kenton Butt just a strike away from pitching out of another jam.
It's a great opportunity here for Butt, the pitcher, to leave those runners stranded, keep the score right where it's at.
1-2 pitch to Evan Richards. He sends a fly ball out to center field. Clayton Colvin has a beat on it. He looks it in, and nice job by Kenton Butt. Been impressed with his ability to compose himself and keep his team in it. We're off to the top of the fourth inning. We've got a ball game. Minford 2, Manchester 0. You're watching baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance, Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Welcome back here at VA Memorial Stadium. Got a nice ball game going on. Minford leads Manchester 2-0, and yeah, I said as we went to break there, Carson been impressed with the sophomore Kenton Butt. Obviously, you know you're going to pitch through a little bit of traffic with the talent of this Minford offense, but even with the 2 runs crossing, Butt's been able to strand, let's see here on my notes, 6 Falcons on base. There he gets some good outfield defense from Rickett and Colvin, and so far so good if you're Coach Meade and the Greyhounds trying to stay in this one.
Yeah, certainly a great job by Butt. Good response after what happened back in the first inning. Got hit around a little bit, but he's just been dialed in ever since. Even when guys get on base, able to limit the damage, keep those runners stranded in. It was 2-0 after the first inning. We're heading into the fourth. It's still 2-0.
Manchester's best chance offensively had come in their last offensive inning when they had one out. They got a single and then a strikeout later. They got another single followed by a walk. They had bases loaded but unable to get anybody home. And so they're still being shut out at the moment on just 3 hits. Carson Inman will lead things off here as Coach Meade will send up 5, 6, 7 in the batting order. Carson Inman, Parker Hayslip, and Kenton Butt. It's been Mason Bradley all the way working on the 3-hit shutout for Minford. The lefty's been terrific. 7 strikeouts to this point through 3 innings. And he's quickly ahead 0-2 here on Inman. Bradley's 0-2. Inman reaches out, flips that ball out over top of shortstop. Louder goes all the way out and puts the hand up to his left fielder, Napier, to make the catch, and he does so for the first out of the inning.
It's good track by Louder. Puts it in reverse to go into shallow left and make the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, he's been really impressive at short. We've watched him go in the hole and show off the arm. There we see the range. Parker Hayslip, the 1-out batter. First pitch swinging, lifts a fly ball out into center field. Curtis Glenn had a beat on, and all of a sudden now back pedals, and the ball falls in behind him. Again, that ball just had a little bit more carry. Obviously, Glenn, a terrific athlete. It looked like he had a pretty comfortable read on it, and then the last minute, the ball just kind of carried on him a little bit. And great opportunity there as Parker Hayslip, running out of the box there, will end up on second base. See how they score that one. Nonetheless, Manchester going to have a 1-out base runner.
Right now it'll go down as a double. We'll see if that holds throughout the remainder of this game, but nonetheless, big opportunity here for the Greyhounds.
Kenton Butt now with an RBI opportunity, chance to help himself. The sophomore pitcher fouls that first one off. Now pitch takes something off there. Really good off speed. Way out in front, swing and miss. Donahoe there from second base, coming in early, just trying to shorten the lead. Now returns home, and 0-2 pitch misses inside. Been real impressed with the athleticism of Louder and Donahoe up the middle there. Now Bradley throws, and staying alive is Kenton Butt as he fouls it over by the Manchester dugout. Catcher, I think, caught one there. That's where the umpire just kind of walks a ball out to the pitcher there and gives his catcher a second. Actually, Coach going to come out and take a look at Colby Mullins. Been outstanding here to this point.
Yeah, done a great job at the plate and also behind the plate, as I mentioned earlier. Both catchers in this game have done a great job on the defensive side. And in the case of Landon Doyle for Manchester, done a great job doing some dirty work behind the plate to keep the score where it's at.
There's a ground ball to shortstop. Backhand Louder. He throws a cross, and that ball skips away there from Frazee off of the turf over to the fence. And good hustle by Kenton Butt will move all the way up to second base. And Manchester in business. Louder was kind of stuck in the middle, holding the runner a little bit. He was on his way back to a stop, so he got to the ball. But when he had the backhand, wasn't able to quite get the feet underneath him. Tried to kind of send the one-hopper over off the turf, and it just skipped right away from first base, Carter Frazee. That'll be an error, and now second and third with one out.
It's something you cannot do if you're Minford looking to stay ahead in this game, is give Manchester free passes. That's what they give the Greyhounds with that error.
First two pitches missed down, 2-0. James Hackathorn, the DH, hitting for the left fielder, Lucas Rigdon. Hackathorn was a strikeout victim back to start the top of the third inning. Been 7 strikeouts at this point for Mason Bradley. He could sure use one here. But now all of a sudden he's fallen behind 3-0. And keep in mind, Landon Doyle on deck. He had an infield hit back in the third inning. 3-0 count. Mason Bradley set. And he misses just off the inside corner. So just like that, bases are going to be loaded, and we're going to have a mound visit here as it goes out. We'll stay here with it. And, of course, let's set the table here a little bit. Remember last inning, Manchester was able to get some RBI opportunities. I felt like they pitched around Clayton Colvin a little bit, and then they were able to get the ground out to end the inning. This inning's got a different feel to it because it's been a little bit more uncharacteristic of Minford. No matter how you want to score it, there's a fly ball to center field, probably should have been caught. Ground ball to shortstop, probably should have been an out. Now all of a sudden you've got to walk to the 8-hole hitter. You look up at the board, 1 out, bases loaded with Landon Doyle stepping in.
Yeah, Shane, and I want to get your input on something. You being a longtime baseball coach, bases loaded, up 2 runs, only 1 out. Are you looking to, do you potentially bring the infield in to prevent the run, or are you saying, hey guys, maybe they can have 1 if we don't get this, but let's try and turn 2 here?
Well, for sure, you're bringing the corners in. The middle infield, if you trust the talent of Louder and Donnie, you might still stay kind of halfway in the double play depth. Again, up 2-0. The number one thing I would want here is the second out in the inning. That's a good job of Bradley getting ahead. Now, keep in mind, Doyle runs pretty well. We saw that on the infield hit, so he's going to be tough to double up. Certainly don't have a problem, bringing the entire infield in here. You always risk here on the turf opening up the big inning with the top of the order on deck. Obviously, when you got a guy like Mason Bradley on the mound who's been dealing to this point 7 strikeouts, the number one thing you'd like to see is Bradley and Mullins take care of the second out themselves. Off speed, there's a chopper to third. Nice play. Going to come home, and they got him. Evan Richards coming glove side. Strong arm to Colby Mullins, who stretches out like the first base. I mean, that was a bang play. Outstanding effort there from Hayslip coming down the line.
Yeah, so what we were talking about, Minford had the corner infielders playing in just on the edge of the green and the brown in the turf. And Richards was in perfect position to field the ball, make a nice throw to the plate. Huge out for the Falcons.
Yeah, no question. Scoring at home, make it 5-2 on the putout. Now it's going to be top of the order. Hildebrand hits it in the hole. Long throw for Louder, and he gets him by a step with a good, strong arm. A lot of credit to Mason Bradley, and then give Minford defense credit after they were a little bit at fault for loading the bases. Back-to-back great infield plays. Gets them out of the jam and keeps them in front 2-0. Stay with us. Outstanding high school baseball game here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie & Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glowhio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
We're heading to the home half of the fourth inning as the Minford Falcons will come to bat with a 2-0 lead on the evening, and Manchester with golden opportunities. The last 2 innings, they leave them loaded. Credit to Mason Bradley and the job that he's been able to do there. The left-hander on the mound's been awfully good throughout the evening with 7 strikeouts. What do you like most about the left-hander to this point?
Just the way he's attacked. Early on, he was getting some quick at-bats, getting ahead in the count. Faced a little bit of pushback here in the last couple innings, but he's locked in when his teams needed him to. Gotten those important ground ball outs. Those last 2 with the bases loaded, huge for Minford, keeps them in front.
9-1-2 for the Falcons here in the bottom of the fourth inning. It'll be center fielder Curtis Glenn stepping in to lead things off, with the top of the order coming just behind him in Max Lauder and Mason Bradley.
Glenn misread that fly ball in center field in the last inning that put those runners on board for Manchester. And now the inning turns over. Got to put that behind you. Got a chance to get on base in the leadoff spot.
No question. Hitting in the 9-hole with his athleticism serves kind of as a double lead man here for the Falcons. He had started to show bunt there earlier, and it was a strike that time. That ball misses, and now Glenn ahead in the count 2-1. If we're being fair, Kenton Butt the same way against this really good Minford offense has been up to the challenge so far.
Yeah, like I said, after that first inning, Butt has been nearly lights out since that first inning. Just maybe in need of some help from his offense.
2-2 pitch. Fouled off. I think got a piece of Glenn right there in the batter's box. Curtis Glenn struck out back in the second inning. 2 strikeouts on the evening so far for Kenton Butt, but overall his defense has been fairly solid. There's a foul down the right field side over by the playground area here at the VA Memorial Stadium. Pretty good battle here between Butt and Glenn. 2-2 delivery. Jammed him a little bit. Fly ball right up over top of second, and it falls right in. No one's at second base. Glenn's going to come hard. The pressure here. Butt recognized it late, and what a heads-up play there from Curtis Glenn. We talked about his speed, and that's a big-time play. Put a little star to that if he ends up scoring here in this inning. Great to see someone like that playing that hard.
Yeah, good recognition and good hustle by Glenn, seeing that nobody's covering the bag at second, so tests his speed there, gets there in time, slides head first in scoring position for Lauder, the leadoff man.
Yeah, and just, again, you get young players in certain spots, and they haven't had a lot of innings. There's an outstanding handling of the bat. Lauder lays it down, and that ball is going to be thrown all the way down in the right field quarter, and Lauder's off to the races. Easily going to go to third. He's going to get a big turn there and watch the ball come back into the infield. And Max Lauder causing some havoc with great bat control and then his speed.
And that's where Glenn being able to advance to second on that bloop hit comes costly for Manchester, because now you go from looking at second and third or from a runner at third or runner at second, runner at third with 1 out. Now you're looking at a runner at third and a run scored, nobody out.
I didn't look up there at the board quick enough, and my eye told me bunt hit and then the throwing error for the 2-base throwing error, but I'll see I'll see what the great John Bruce has in mind next door here.
Looks like we're going to have a pitching change for Manchester.
And again, for the experience of Bud, the outstanding job there as we'll go. Hey, I'll tell you what, Carson, we'll step aside. We'll come back and we'll let the viewers know about the new Manchester pitcher. We'll step aside here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here to VA Memorial Stadium. Coach Meade makes his way out to the mound there, makes the pitching change, and we're going to have some Greyhound defenders moving around here. We'll try to get them all squared away for them, Carson. Who we got here on the mound now?
Well, coming in to pitch for Manchester is the former center fielder Clayton Colvin. Colvin making his 5th appearance from the mound this season, thrown 9 2/3 innings, has a 2-1 overall record, struck out 10, posting a 3.62 ERA. Some damage control work for Colvin as he takes over on the mound with nobody out, and Max Lauder at third. Looks like Kenton Butt will move over to third base for the Greyhounds.
That moved Parker Hayslip out the center.
So a little 3-way swap here for the Greyhounds defensively.
It's one thing you see in the small school baseball. Guys come off the mound and they go, and sometimes you play some musical chairs, getting guys to a spot that they're most comfortable playing. But yeah, I thought Kenton Butt threw the ball real well tonight. I think that's a nice step forward for the sophomore against a really good team. That time, just a tough break on the fly ball that ended up finding some green, and then obviously an outstanding player in Max Lauder causing chaos out of the leadoff spot. So now 3-0 Minford, nobody out. Mason Bradley at the plate, and it's damage control time again for Manchester. Colvin's first pitch, a little off speed, lost it up and in.
Colvin, 1 inning of work Thursday night against the Fayetteville Perry Rockets. There he gave up 2 earned runs on 2 hits, struck out 3, and walked 1.
Going to have a lot of lefty-on-lefty matchups here because Minford rolls out the left-handers at this part of the order. Pitch catches the outside corner, 2-1. Can't tell you how tough it is in this spot just to come out of center field and take just a few warm-ups and then all of a sudden step in and say, oh, here's Mason Bradley.
Yeah, not an ideal situation here for Colvin.
Ground ball second base, going to hold the runner. Nice job there by Hildebrand. With nobody out, probably a conservative keep. Well, you certainly understand there with this part of the order. If that would have been with 1 out, it would have been interesting to see if the strategy would have been a little bit different. But again, with you here 2, 3, 4 in the order, you certainly don't want to make an out at the plate there.
It's a good heads up by Hildebrand, looking that runner Lauder back to third, keeping him in check.
Ty Borland steps in, and he'll take an RBI crack. He was in a similar, pretty much the same exact situation back in the first inning, and he, too, hit a ground ball to Hildebrand, and the runner had to hold. Back, Ty Borland has grounded out to Hildebrand in both of his at-bats so far tonight with a pair of 4-3 putouts. Long hold, now comes plate for it. Looked like a little over the top. Getting a feel for some of his pitches here as he's just come into the ball game. Comes nice over the top there with his pitches, and as you said, he threw last night as well. So, obviously, a big part of what Coach Meade is doing with the Greyhounds. Pitch just misses there. I'd say a little bit up. Borland ahead in the count 2-1. His Speedy Louder leads from third base. He's there as a result of a bunt and a two-base throwing error. There's a ground ball. Shortstop, Applegate, going glove side, can't secure it, and Louder will come home to score. Give Borland the RBI there.
I think they're going to rule that an error for the time being on the shortstop, Applegate.
Never was going to have a chance at home, so in that case, and again, that's with the infield in, that's a really, really tough play. You know, a lot of times players are a victim of their range on some of these scoring decisions because that was anything but routine. He went a couple steps to his glove side there, did a good job of keeping the ball in the infield, just couldn't secure it to make the play. That ball's hammered down the right field line. Let's see if it finds fairground. It does. Carter Frazee with first pitch swinging, hits it all the way into the corner. They're going to come all the way around. Borland coming hard to the plate, and an outstanding relay by the Manchester defense. Rickett comes up firing in, and they relay it all the way home. Doyle puts the offhand on that glove and dives out and gets the sliding Borland at the plate. So what was going to be an RBI triple will still be the triple there, but for now, that what would be fifth run was gunned down at the plate for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, that was just outstanding defense there by Manchester, preventing that run from coming in. Yeah, just great relay from all the way out in right field to gun down Borland at the plate.
Two-out batter here, and there's another aggressive swing. Colby Mullins working on a nice night. Defensively, currently catching a shutout as the catcher, and then on the offensive side has an RBI triple in two plate appearances, 1 for 2. 2 outs, Frazee at third after that outstanding shot down the right field line. Did a good job keeping his hands inside that baseball to keep it fair. Pitch misses well up out of the zone, and Mullins now ahead of Colvin 2-1. Colvin just in this inning out of center field, looks in at his catcher Doyle for the sign. Now he's ready to go. Off speed, one of the better ones he's thrown. That catches the outside corner for a strike, evens count 2-2.
It was a late call from the home plate umpire. Call that a strike. Had me fooled running the graphics over here.
2-2 pitch. That ball's hit well out to center field, and it's going to fall down inside of Parker Hayslip, and that's going to be an RBI two-out variety there for Colby Mullins.
It's a good piece of two-out hitting by Mullins, just lofting that one into shallow center, dropping in a perfect spot for a base hit, and driving that run home.
Now 5-0. Never a bad time for an RBI hit, but I always felt like those two out were those momentum swing plays that kind of help break games open, and that's kind of what you're seeing here as Minford now, what was a 2-0 game here in the home half of the fourth. They've plated 3 runs, and they're still batting. There's a bunt up the third base line. Napier trying to add another base runner, just goes foul. Napier struck out back in the first. He was hit by a pitch in the third. Ended up stealing a base, but he was stranded out there, unable to get him around.
Mark Napier hit by a pitch his last time up.
Runner going on the pitch there, had a great read off of the pitcher. Catcher Doyle had no chance, so give the stolen base to Mullins. Yet another RBI opportunity now. Napier swings and misses, and Great job of Colvin to close the door there, but not before Minford gets 3 more added on. They lead at 5-0. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Swing and a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
We've completed 4 here at VA Memorial Stadium, and it's the Minford Falcons out in front of the Greyhounds of Manchester by the score of 5-0. On the defensive side of things, it's been the lefty Mason Bradley leading the way with 7 strikeouts on the evening, working on a 4-hit shutout with his battery mate Colby Mullins. Here in the top of the 5th, he'll face 2-3-4 for Coach Meade's Manchester offense. Luke Applegate, Clayton Colvin, and Braylon Rickett.
Yeah, Bradley's done an excellent job again. Battle tested tonight. Looking to continue that here into this 5th inning as he works on this order for the 3rd time.
Carson, keep in mind, it's just the first of 2 here tonight in our doubleheader action. Kenneth Hay will join me for the nightcap, Chillicothe and Peebles. Looking forward to that one as well.
You've seen Chillicothe on stream earlier this year. A pretty talented ball club going against a Peebles team looking for an opportunity against a big, much like Manchester is in this game, chance to make some noise on a big stage against a talented school.
There's a swing and a miss. Evens count 1-1. And again, Manchester, they've played really well tonight. They just had a couple things get away from them. Had a chance to get out of that first inning, only down 1-0. It was 2-0, and then they leave the bases loaded back-to-back innings. Keep in mind, they were only down 2-0 when that happened in both occasions. And then once they were unable to cash in, Minford was able to come back with 3 in the bottom of the 4th, and now they send Mason Bradley back out there to the mound with a little bit more of a cushion. And Carson, as a pitcher, you go out there to the mound now with a 5-0 advantage. You're just able to relax and fill the zone.
And I think that's what Mason Bradley's looking to do here as he attacks the 1-2. Just unable to find it there.
The Minford infield didn't agree with that call. They were on their way in to throw it around, but the 1-2 pitch was determined to be a little up. 2-2 the count. Pitch down and in, the swing and the miss. Ball did get away, so Mullins will toss it on down to Frazee to complete the strikeout. Number 8 unofficially here in my book for Mason Bradley on the evening. So Applegate strikes out for the 2nd time. He did have the base hit back in the 3rd, so he's 1 for 3 now in the evening, and that'll bring up Clayton Colvin. Colvin singled with 2 outs back in the 1st inning, but he was stranded, and then he walked in the 3rd inning to load the bases at the time, and then now a ball down the 3rd base line there for Colvin. Going to be able to create a little bit of an opportunity here to get on base, and that's what you want here. You need base runners.
Really like the effort I've seen from Clayton Colvin in all aspects of this game. Done great at the plate, came in onto the mound straight from center field. Not a bad job to end that last inning. Now he's aboard with 1 out.
Pitch catches the outside corner here to Braylon Rickett. Now, so Colvin 2 for 2 with a walk, been on base all 3 times. Rickett struck out back in the 1st, grounded to short to end the 3rd inning. As the bases loaded, that ground ball, Louder made a nice play on it to get his buddy Bradley out of the jam. 1-1 to count. Colvin leads from first inning. 5-0. Minford leads it. There's a chopper back up the middle. The runner had started, so the only play for Donahoe is going to be to throw over to first base to Frazee to get the hustling Rickett down the line for the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring a trip to the mound here. And let's see, possibly with a pitch count, we may end up having a change. We'll wait and see here.
It looks like we will have a pitching change for Minford, as Coach Daniels will call it a night for Mason Bradley.
Well, it's outstanding, and we'll put all those numbers together. We will step away for a quick timeout, but hats off to Mason Bradley. He was terrific here this evening. He's going to leave and stand to be the winner if his Falcons can close the door for him here over the back few innings of this. So, again, we'll step aside. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
All right, welcome back. Again, we do have a pitching change, and hats off to Mason Bradley. He was terrific here this evening. He strikes out 8 over his 4 2/3 work and only allows the 5 hits. And before we get to the changes there, Carson, a comment on Mason Bradley. I thought he was really, really good this evening.
Outstanding effort from Mason Bradley. Just attacked from the jump, got ahead in the count early. Bunch of strikeouts, filled the score sheet with Ks. Faced some adversity, a couple bases loaded jams. He was able to work his way out of them. An outstanding job on the mound from the Minford starter.
If I followed all this correctly, we got Bradley heading out to center. Glenn will come over to third, and then that brings Evan Richards into the mound. He'll inherit a runner out there at second base who belongs to Mason Bradley. Stepping into the box will be Inman. He's first pitch swinging, hits that ball pretty well out there to right center field. And talk about the ball finding you. Mason Bradley seems to be the theme of the night. He runs that one down and ends the inning. Minford hangs on to the 5-0 lead. Stay with us here as you're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
Welcome back as we head off to the bottom of the 5th inning. Carson, I want to go back to the top half as Richards comes in off third base there and gets the fly ball out to center field. Bradley made a nice running catch, but Richards on his time at third base, I had starred in my book here. I thought he made one of the key plays of the night. Remember back in the top of the 4th inning, there was bases loaded with just the one out, and you had the ground ball to third base, and Richards went glove side and then really set the feet and threw a bullet home. And remember, he cut down, I want to say the base runner at the time was Parker Hayslip on a real close play at the plate. I thought that was one of the key plays in the game tonight because that would have made it 2-1 with just one out and they'd have been batting. So Evan Richards there with a star play there, plus play defensively, was a big play in this game.
Yeah, great job at third and great job coming onto the mound from third and getting a quick out to send your team back up to bat.
Clayton Colvin will continue to work. He had come on back in the fourth inning and ended up closing the door after Minford had scored 3 times. There's a first pitch swinging back up the middle. Colt Donahoe with his second hit of the night, past the diving Applegate on out into center field. So now 2 for 3. Colt Donahoe, he even made a productive out back in the third inning when he hit the fly ball to right field that took a teammate over to third base on a tag up.
A nice piece of leadoff hitting from Donahoe. Just a quick zip out into center field for a leadoff single.
So Evan Richards, the third baseman, now turned pitcher. He had a single back in the second inning, hit a fly ball out to center field in the third. 1 for 2. That pitch gets away. Donahoe going to move up. This is where the life can come out of you just a little bit. This is where Manchester's really got to dig in and play here against a talented team like Minford. Yeah, it's got to be a frustrating night for them because they've played a nice game. You know, in their 5 chances at the plate, they've left 8 on base. They just haven't been able to come up with that one timely hit. There's a bunt up the third baseline by Richards. Right idea, just goes foul on him. That guy at second base, the third baseman, wants to stay home, so that's the guy you want to bunt it hard at and make him come off the bag to field it. Just couldn't get it inside the line. Donahoe leads from second. Colvin comes set, checks him. Now, ooh, man, the curveball on the inside, he turns, and coach wears it off the foot, and he's gonna stand proud there. I'm promising you that doesn't feel very good, but again, that's why you back up just a little bit more. There he goes a little bit.
And Coach Daniels in the danger zone out there, and nice heads up play by Butt. Thought he should have had an out off the ricochet. It won't give it to him, but I think Coach appreciates the heads up play down there. They're having a little chat about it.
2-2 to count to Evan Richards. There's the pitch, swing and a miss. Ball gets away. Great job by Doyle keeping it in front. And now the umpire out in the field felt like there was a foul ball, so it wasn't just your typical swing and miss, which would have made it the live third strike with first base not occupied. Instead, just a foul ball and going to bring the hitter back. Good job by Richards getting out of the box in a hurry because you don't know. You know, let the umpire make the call. Kenneth and I had a key play the other night where a young man did that and created a run opportunity for a teammate at third base. There's a fly ball hit pretty well out to left field, all the way back. Going to beat the left fielder, Rigdon, and that's going to bring Donahoe home easily, and it's going to be an RBI double for Evan Richards.
Yeah, that ball had some movement out there into left field, and again, just not the best read on that fly ball. It just gets a little past his glove. Puts Richards at second, drives another run home for the Falcons.
So nobody out in the inning. The 6th run for Minford is home. Curtis Glenn is going to be the batter as Coach Meade takes a trip out to the mound. Don't know that he's necessarily making a change here. I think just wants his guys to continue to compete hard. That ball was hit pretty well. Looked like Rigdon had a chance to, but that ball had a little carry to it. And again, we've talked about it 3 or 4 times tonight. Outfield's tough enough to play at the high school level. You throw it in this ballpark, it's a whole nother level.
The Manchester infield giving Clayton Colvin some words of encouragement before they disperse. You know, and even though things haven't gone according to plan for Clayton Colvin in relief tonight, I think he's just done a great job given the position that he was in when he entered, just going after this really talented Minford lineup.
Curtis Glenn was a strikeout victim back in the second, and then he doubled back in the fourth. Remember, that was the ball that was hit out over top of second base, and The pitcher, Kenton Butt at the time, was late getting to the bag to cover because both of his middle infielders went out after the batted ball, and Glenn never broke stride. Great effort there, went all the way into second base with a double. He would later score in what ended up being a 3-run fourth inning. 2-0 the count to Glenn. Long look at second there from Colvin. Misses down, and now 3-0. And you look over there on deck and you see Max Louder, the top of that order for Minford. This is big-time danger area for Manchester, desperate need of a strike. And they miss down. So Glenn is aboard for the second time tonight. His line now reads 1 for 2 with a walk. 2 on, nobody out with the top of the order coming back. Minford starting to eyeball an opportunity to push toward maybe a 10-run opportunity here if they can get a couple swings of the bat from the top of the order that they're capable of. There's a strike. Louder on the evening, Carson. I have him unofficially for 2 for 3 with a fly out the short. I had him down as a base hit and then the throwing error that allowed everybody to move up a couple bases, but I felt like the original bunt was going to be a hit, and then speaking of hit, he's hit by a pitch. And that's going to bring a second trip from the inning, which is going to mean a pitching change here. Bases are loaded to Falcons. We're going to step aside. 6-0 Minford. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place. And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust. Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back here. Pitching change here in the home half of the 5th inning is going to bring Braylon Rickett onto the mound. And Carson and I were trying to follow the musical chairs once again. We think we've got Clayton Colvin going back out to center field where he started the game, and then the versatile Parker Hayslip will move over to right field. Keep in mind he started at third, then he went to center on the first pitching change and over to right field now. And that's kind of that versatility you like from your senior. As obviously tonight ended up not going the way, but as you watch this Manchester team play, certainly has a lot of potential, going to be a factor into the rest of their conference season and into the postseason.
This is the first pitching appearance of the season for Braylon Rickett, and bases loaded, no outs against a stacked Minford lineup. Certainly a little baptism by fire here for Braylon Rickett.
Pitch misses down. As you start doing the math here at 6-0, Bradley would represent the walk-off run in terms of a 10-run mercy rule opportunity. That's a ground ball second base. Hildebrand tries to come home, but unable to get it there all the way on the fly, and the short hop is going to get past Landon Doyle, and looks like we're going to have the error there on Hildebrand, and that's going to make it 7-0, and then off the throwing error, another run comes home, makes it 8-0. Starting to really get away from Manchester here as Manchester a hit away from ending this. Swing and a miss here for Ty Borland. Borland with an RBI single back in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3 on the evening. He had a pair of ground outs to second base.
It's a swing from Borland that looks like he's ready to end this thing early.
Another big swing, fouls it off right down by the ticket booth.
Give our friend Adrian a chance to catch a foul ball while he's down there manning the gate.
Yeah. Outstanding efforts of Adrian. Always appreciate what he does here at the ballpark. Swing and a miss, gets away, Even when that happens, it's going Minford's favor. So even with the strikeout, Borland's going to reach, and another run's going to come home, and that's going to make it 9-0. So Mason Bradley moves over to third base. He represents the run that would walk this off here in the home half of the fifth inning for Minford. Carter Frazee, first pitch swinging, he singles in to right field. And as Mason Bradley comes home and touches the plate, that's going to be run number 10, and that's going to win it for Minford. It was an outstanding game for quite some time, 2-0. And Minford couldn't put away Manchester there for the longest time, but they finally get things going in the fourth. They finish it off here in the fifth, and they win it 10-0. Stay with us. We'll be back with some post-game recap, and we'll look ahead to our second game here as you're watching tonight's high school baseball doubleheader on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounds and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium, where it's been a winning Friday night for the Falcons from Minford as they improved to 13-1. And you look up and down the lineup. We'll start on the offensive side, Carson. If you look for Coach Daniels here, a whole lot of Falcons involved, starting with Max Louder out of that leadoff spot. I had him 2 for 3. He was hit by a pitch. He scored 3 times. Mason Bradley had an RBI triple. He scored a couple times. Carter Frazier had a couple big swings. Kobe Mullins was really involved. But then as you get down to the bottom third, I was impressed. Donahoe and Richards and Glenn all getting involved in the run scoring and jump-starting the offense even from the bottom third. Really, really complete offensive effort for Minford.
Yeah, absolutely. Top to bottom, the Falcons just produced at the plate. And you look at I talked about how the top of the order for Minford was as powerful as all get out, and you look at Louder, Bradley, and Borland. But then, as you mentioned, Shane, just even from top to bottom, that bottom of the order, that middle of the order too, just did a great job getting on base and just creating opportunities for the next guy in line to advance them, maybe bring them home from time to time. But all around a solid effort from this Minford batting order, and they're going to look to carry that over. Great opportunity to ride this momentum into Monday night's rematch with Valley, Minford's lone loss in the season.
Yeah, really impressed with this lineup up and down. And then when you go to the other side, maybe it's shame on me for not starting there, because I thought Mason Bradley was a big story in this one. 4 2/3 innings, struck out 8, only allowed the 5 hits. But the big stat that I think is, even when he pitched into trouble, he stranded 8 Greyhounds out on the bases. I thought the combination of the lefty Bradley throwing to his catcher Colby Mullins was really, really good this evening.
Yeah, that battery was outstanding tonight. And I thought in the case of Mason Bradley, I think one word I would use to describe his performance tonight was just composure. He was out there, he was dealing from the jump, and then faced a little pushback from that Manchester offense. Not once but twice the Greyhounds had a bases-loaded opportunity with a chance to get on the board, maybe even tie the game. At the time, it was still 2-0. But Mason Bradley stayed calm, collected, got a couple big ground ball outs to keep the Greyhounds off the board, and we stand here. They were able to pull away, get to that run rule thanks to the pitching efforts of Mason Bradley. Just an outstanding job from number 21 on the mound.
Yeah, no question. Now Minford did make the one error, and they had the one inning where they maybe weren't as sharp as I'm sure Coach Daniels wants to be. But I'll give a tip of the cap to the left side of that infield. I thought Max Louder made a couple nice throws at key points to with 2 outs that maybe closed the door on a couple innings. And then the one play Evan Richards made the glove side where he was able to come home and cut down a run. As you said, all of those plays – at the time, it's 2-0. You look at it, 10-0, what's the big deal? But at the time, it was 2-0, and the momentum had a much different feel. Now, on that thought, I say all this to ask you this. Let's flip it over to the Manchester side. You look at the way the first 3 to 4 innings was played in this particular game. You're playing a now 13-1 team who's ranked number 3 in the state Division 5. If you're Manchester, there's still a lot you can take from tonight's game that gives you a lot of confidence moving forward, does it not?
Absolutely. You hung around with a really good Minford team. I wouldn't be shocked if, they're back here in May playing for a district or a regional title. So that just speaks to how good of a team Manchester was playing tonight. But there's a lot you can take away. They did a lot of really good things, had some opportunities, just weren't able to capitalize. Now you look ahead for the Greyhounds next week. They've got some games that they can go compete and maybe string a couple of wins together in the week to come. You start out in some cross-divisional shaction on Tuesday night. They travel to North Adams before they get a rematch with Fayetteville on Thursday. Remember, that was just a one-run game a night ago. So definitely a game Manchester has to feel confident that they can win. And then they close out the week Friday, Saturday with a league game against Ripley at home before they travel to Huntington Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to it. And again, if you're new to SOSA, welcome here. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. If you like high school sports, you're just going to fall in love with our page. We constantly have interviews of so many of our athletes throughout. You can look back through the stream. You can see our football streams, our volleyball streams, boys basketball, girls basketball, baseball. And then, as you said, Carson, I'm going to have you comment in a second. We have some softball coming up. And then, obviously, we have our SOSA overtime presented by Perfection One. That's where John Bruce and I, a couple hours a week, get together and talk everything high school sports on the diamond. And then our Haynes Total Health Care Coach's Call-In show. I know John works really hard to put together an elite lineup each and every week. I enjoy listening. Usually gets about 7 coaches per Sunday night, and that is outstanding to hear them come on and talk about their kids. The teaser I just put out there before we get out of here, Carson, we have some different things coming up, including a unique opportunity to get another sport involved.
Yeah, well, first of all, we got another game coming up tonight here in roughly half hour, 40 minutes. Chillicothe and Peebles round out our doubleheader. Kenneth Hay will fill in for me with you, Shane. Should be an exciting matchup for you guys to call. And then Monday night, great opportunity. We're going to have some history made here on SOSA. Our first ever softball stream right here at the VA. Our grounds crew put up a softball fence in the outfield, and we'll have Jackson and Chillicothe coming in for an FAC softball battle. 2 great teams to showcase the game of softball in Southeast Ohio. Again, first time we've ever done a softball stream, an exciting chance for you and I to call that game Monday night. And then Tuesday, we're back to baseball with McLean and Waverly right here at the VA.
Yeah, I can't wait. A lot going on. I'm excited to see it. So we'll take a quick break away. You'll have to go to a different link for the Chillicothe Peebles game. But, again, like Kenneth will get settled in here for Carson. Carson, always awesome to be with you. I'll see you again Monday night for that softball game. Want to give a shout-out to John Bruce and all the effort he does. It's the final score for the final time. Minford beats Manchester 10-0. So long, everyone.